Hello everyone, this is Azim Sen and today we will talk about OOPs in Java and basic concept of classes and objects. So let's start our today's discussion. OOP stand for Object Oriented Programming, and in OOP we define different classes and create their objects. So OOP is all about dealing a lot of different classes and their objects, and those objects will then manipulate data and method of the class. So it's all about classes and objects. Benefit of the OOP. OOP enhance reusability. Reusability in a sense that we can reuse a piece of code that is already defined in our program. Let us we have two different classes C1 and C2. We can reuse the code inside C1 that is already defined in C2 or vice versa. So due to this there is less repetition in the code because we are reusing existing code. It also provides structure. The principle of OOP are very well defined. We will talk about them later in the next slide. Due to those principles, our program is very well structured. It is also easier to maintain code because we define classes in such a way that those classes did not depend upon each other very much. So there is low coupling and high cohesiveness, due to which if I make some changes in this class, then this won't affect this class will be remain unchanged. It is also a faster and easier way to develop applications. Principle of the OOPs. There are four basic principles of the OOP. These principles are abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation. Let us discuss them briefly. Abstraction means hiding certain details or implementation. What does that mean? We have to design system in such a way that user just have to enter some data and system will process that data according to its predefined rules. So hiding the implementation detail from the user. Abstract classes and interfaces are the ways to achieve abstraction. Inheritance mean one class can inherit properties from other classes. So I have a class programmer and I have two subclasses name as this is programmer class and this is junior programmer class and this is senior programmer class. So these classes are inheriting their properties from programmer class. So general properties are kept in programmer class. We will talk about inheritance later on in another video. Polymorphism mean many forms. It means that one method can perform different tasks under one name. So one method can perform different tasks under one name. Then come encapsulation. Encapsulation means hiding sensitive data or wrapping sensitive data. We have to wrap some data in data set methods that are declared as public while data is kept as private. Now let's talk about classes and objects. A class is a blueprint or a template for an object. What does that mean? A class just logically defines the upcoming objects, while an object is an instance of that class. It means that object physically define that class. So object has physical existence while class has just logical existence. So class will act as blueprint or a template and object will be instance of that class. Object will be the physical presence of that class. Let us discuss the structure of a class. We can create many classes in Java by using class keyword and then the name of the class, and inside class there are two basic members, instance variables and methods. So instance variable can be declared by their types and then variable name. Similarly we can declare method. We will talk about methods in another video. Now let us discuss the basics of class. Class is a keyword which is used to declare classes in Java. So then comes the name of the class, which could be a legal identifier and it has some meaningful word. Then come instance variable, data inside the variable data or variable in the class are called instance variable. They are known as instance variable because each object share its own copy. It means that every time we create an object of the class, like I have created a Smith, then Smith will actually get a copy of all instance variable of student class except those instance variable that are declared as private. We will talk about access specifier later in another video. Then come methods. The code within the class is known as method. Methods are the block of code that manipulate data. Now let us create a simple class. Here I have created a class named as student, and inside the student class I have three variables that are student name, department name, and age. I have saved this file as student.java. Now let us create some objects of the student class. So first, to create students class object, we have to create first a reference variable and then a real object. So let us discuss what is a reference variable. A reference variable is a variable of type class for which we are creating objects. Let's say I have created a reference variable as 3 of type student. So this reference variable will point to object. So this is a reference variable student s1, and new will actually create an object in the memory. So after I have created a new object and I'm assigning that reference to s3. So now s3 is pointing to an object. Now let us discuss the representation of creation of an object diagrammatically. Here I have drawn a diagram to depict this concept. I have created a variable of type student s1. This s1 can point an object of type student. Now I have created a new object with the help of new keyword. This new keyword just create an object in the memory and return its reference or memory address. So let's say its memory address is 1005. I'm assigning that reference to s1. So now s1 is pointing to an object or at memory location of 1005. Similarly, s2 is pointing to 1016 and s3 is pointing to 2432. Now let us discuss the final thing here, which is class name and then parenthesis. This is known as constructor. A constructor is a special kind of method whose name is same as class name. So constructor will created every time when we create object, and it is used to instantiate the state of object. So it will define what occur when an object created. Constructors are very important. We will talk about them later in another video. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video we will implement classes and objects in detail. Thank you.